Buenos noches, muchachos. Yo soy Trey, vivo mi casa por YouTube, pero todos, you know, ay, chingo. Un momento, por favor. Uh, okay, so very sorry about that. I had the SAP button pushed. You know, I'm gonna try and push through this very quickly tonight, which probably means that it'll go 10 minutes, if not more, and I swear to you that I'm gonna try to keep it under that. Very few people outside of a select few know anything about me on YouTube. There are probably more people outside of YouTube who are not my friends know more about me than anyone who actually subscribes. And so over the course of the last, I don't know, whatever, weeks, months, I've received a few questions that I just never really got around to answering. And that's wrong, and for that I apologize. It's a bit selfish, because I do appreciate them. Some of them were for friends, some of them weren't. But I'm going to try and push through this and make this as quick as possible. And I took notes this time because there's no way that I could remember all of this crap. There was a first set of questions here that somebody said they wanted to know 5 random things about me. And that's fair enough. It's nothing too personal. 5 things you may or may not know or believe or even want to believe about me. Number 1. I am left-handed. I know, it's a shocker. It's a bloody shocker. I'm left-handed. To some degree, actually, though I'm actually ambidextrous in that I broke my arm as a youth, and so I learned to use my right hand, and so when I do things like play baseball, I actually bat right-handed, but for all intents and purposes, I'm left-handed. Number 2, what are we looking at? Oh, growing up. Growing up, I lived in a very music-oriented household. My mother was an amazing singer. She was like she was an opera, a classically trained opera caliber singer. I played the cello. Yep, that's right. Brother man played the cello. I played the cello. My mother brought us up to play the piano, and in high school later I played the guitar. Don't ask me to play any of them on camera because it's been far too long. I haven't played the cello since my orchestra days in high school. My guitar, I pawned it for gas money 3 years ago, and well, let's just be honest, there ain't much room here for a piano. Moving along. Number 3. You know what? Growing up, my mother was a gypsy. And I don't mean that to be facetious, but she was. But growing up, we moved around quite a bit. Some of it was her job. She did work for the federal government, and then some of it wasn't. But the point is that I have lived all over the country. I have lived on both coasts, east to west, north to south. I have spent time from the Pacific Northwest to Atlanta, Georgia, Virginia, whatever, California. To put it in perspective for you, I spent, oh God, I actually attended 9 schools in 12 years. From grade 1 through 12, 12 or 9 of those years were spent in different schools. It wasn't actually until my junior and senior high school that I actually stayed put. So, I moved around quite a bit. It really helped to define who I am as a person, and really gave me an ability to think very quickly on my feet. If you wonder where some of the things that I say or characters come from, it's because you have to, that kind of instability, you have to be very adaptable to your surroundings, or you will simply perish. Let's see, what are we looking at? Like, on time, we are at 4 minutes. Okay, moving right along. Number 4. This is a good one. My favorite city in the world is Paris. I absolutely adore Paris. Everything from Les Champs-Élysées to the Louvre, Notre Dame. Paris is an amazing city. Paris Danse Belle. I mean, it is truly, truly beautiful. Um, Paris in the springtime is absolutely amazing. You know, the first time I went, I honestly did not want to come home. I cried. I'm like, you know what? I'll stay here. You know, if I ever drop off the map and you never see me again, and you wonder what the bloody hell ever happened to Twill, there's a very good chance you'll probably find me on a corner in a cafe in Paris. Number 5. As far as hobbies, I am a very, very huge car fanatic. I am, I love import cars, Japanese, European, American muscle cars. But my favorite car of all time is the Mazda RX-7. I am a bit of a rotorhead. I am a fanatic about those cars. That was my very first car I ever purchased with my own money. Excuse me, as a youth. The best $250 I ever spent in my life. It was this dookie, mustard, orange, brown looking Mazda RX-7. It was a 1982, and it was the most fun one could have for $200. I've owned at least 3 of them over the years. Even so much so that here on my keys, I don't even own one anymore. I'm considering maybe going and purchasing a used one, but I actually keep a pewter. Let's get that on the camera there. A pewter key fob of a rotor, just to constantly remind me of my love for the rotor. All hail the mighty rotor. Moving on. Number 6. Would I lie to someone just to sleep with him? Now that's a bit of an interesting question. It's a bit rather sorted too. I can't quite say that I appreciate you asking me that one. The truth of the matter is, probably not. Because lies can be very, very detrimental. And the truth always comes out in the end. Granted, I will say that lies can be very subjective, however. If someone asks you your status and you tell them that you are clean, but in fact you are probably HIV positive or harbor some sort of debilitating, hideous STD, then that is very wrong. That is cruel and that is wrong. Or, versus, maybe she asks you, what's your penis size, and you say 6 inches when it's really 4. Don't laugh, I've seen it happen. That's a little less harmful. So, it just all depends on what you're willing to live with. But, if she were hot enough, maybe I would. It depends. But at the end of the day, once she finds out the truth, she's not probably going to want to be with you anyway. So, sort of defeats the purpose of lying. Moving right along. What are we looking at on time? 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Okay, I've got 2 minutes to run through this. 4 questions. What's the first thing I look for in a person or partner, and why? Probably the very first thing that I look for in a partner is going to be, well, obviously it has to be some sort of attraction, but I think intelligence is very, very attractive to me. Because let's just be honest, nobody wants a dumb bitch. There, I said it. Followed up by a very, very close second, sanity. There's nothing worse than waking up the next morning to someone who is an absolute whack job, and you discover a butcher knife or a pair of scissors, and you're missing your boy parts. I mean, we all remember Lorena Bobbitt, and, well, that didn't turn out so well. Number something, I don't even know. Are you gay? What the fuck do you think? Have you even looked at my channel? No, the reality is that I don't really fit in a box per se. I would probably consider myself pansexual, if anything, because I've pretty much done it all. I've dated girls, guys, transgenders, had threesomes, group sex. I mean, I've even done, when I was young, I even did drag, for God's sake. So, I've done it all. There's not a whole lot left out there for me to do. And I really can't say that I fit within the binary system of just saying gay or straight. What else? What do you do for a living? I am an environmental tech, which is a fancy word for environmental garbage man. I do hazmat, environmental abatement. When shit like the Exxon Valdez would spill, we're the ones that go out and try and clean it up. We are at 9:52. Okay, you know what? That's it, boys and girls. I'm at 10 minutes. I swore I would not go over it. There are more questions. I will answer them at a later date. I swear I will. Good night. Godspeed. This is a truly fucked up accent, I know. But it's fun. You guys have a good one.